The dust of the western plains rose in swirling clouds as the runaway wagon thundered down the rocky trail, its wooden wheels rattling dangerously against the uneven earth. Horses screamed in panic, their harnesses straining, while the driver, long thrown off in the chaos, lay far behind in the dirt. On the edge of that wagon, clinging desperately to the side with trembling fingers, was a young woman whose face told a story of both terror and fierce determination. Her dress was torn, her hair whipped by the desert wind, and her eyes widened with each violent jolt that threatened to send her tumbling into the unforgiving ground below. She had been tossed into danger by fate, abandoned to the mercy of wild speed and splintering wood. But destiny had other plans. From the ridge above, a lone cowboy watched the chaos unfold, his sharp blue eyes narrowing under the brim of his weathered hat. He had seen storms, wild cattle, and men turn to violence in a heartbeat, but nothing had ever made his pulse thunder like the sight of her clinging for dear life. Without a moment's hesitation, he spurred his horse into a gallop, every muscle in the animal straining to catch the runaway wagon before it, devoured her life in a tumble of wheels and dust. The pounding of hooves shook the earth beneath him, his coat snapping in the wind, his jaw set in determination. Time slowed as he leaned forward in the saddle, calculating his chance, knowing one wrong move could take them both. The wagon hit a jagged stone, jolting violently, and with a cry that ripped through the plains, the woman lost her grip. She was tossed like a ragdoll into the air, the horizon spinning, her hands grasping desperately at nothing but wind. But just as the earth rose to claim her, strong arms intercepted her fall. The cowboy pulled her against his chest, his grip ironclad, his horse skidding in a cloud of dust as they narrowly avoided being crushed beneath the wagon's rear wheel. For a heartbeat, the world went silent. The danger passed, the runaway wagon crashing down the hill without the man in that silence. The woman clung to him, her breath ragged, her heart pounding against his. His voice broke the stillness, low and steady like the land itself. "You're safe now, darlin'. I got you." Her wide eyes lifted to his, filled with disbelief and a fragile spark of trust. For the first time since her life had turned into chaos, she allowed herself to breathe. They sat there, surrounded by the drifting dust and the dying echoes of panic, her body trembling in his embrace while his arms shielded her from the world. Slowly, she found her voice, soft and cracked. You saved me." He shook his head slightly, his eyes never leaving hers. "No, ma'am. I just caught what was already worth savin'." His words wrapped around her like the warmth of a fire on a cold night. And though fear still lingered, hope began to flicker in her heart. The plains stretched out before them, endless and wild, and for the
first time she didn't feel so alone. The cowboy, hardened by years of solitude and struggle, felt something shift deep within him too. Holding her there, he realized that the land wasn't the only thing worth protecting anymore. As the sun dipped behind the mountains and painted the sky in hues of fire and gold, the promise of a new story was written in the dust, a story of second chances, of a woman who had been tossed into despair and a cowboy who had chosen to catch her instead of letting her fall. And maybe, just maybe, it was the beginning of a bond that even the wildest storms couldn't tear apart. If you've been moved by this powerful tale of courage, destiny, and unexpected love, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Your support means the world and helps bring more stories like this to life, stories of resilience, hope, and the kind of romance that reminds us all that sometimes the right person shows up exactly when we're about to fall. Don't miss out on the next chapter of heart-stirring adventures. Subscribe and join us for more unforgettable journeys.